The quiet peace of our rural property was shattered the moment a bullet cracked through the still morning air. What began as a normal Saturday turned into a nightmare that changed our lives forever, and all because of a bitter neighbor who thought she ran the neighborhood. Asterisk, my name is Marcus Reynolds, and I live on a 10-acre ranch just outside town with my wife Tasha, our 9-year-old daughter Lily, and our golden retriever Cooper. Lily has been disabled since birth, confined to a motorized wheelchair due to a rare spinal condition, but she never let that stop her from enjoying life, especially time spent with Cooper, her constant companion and protector. Asterisk, we had bought the property 3 years ago, specifically for Lily's well-being. The open space, the fresh air, the absence of traffic, all of it made our home a sanctuary. Unfortunately, we didn't know that our neighbor across the road, Carol Simmons, better known around here as HOA Karen, had other plans for our lives. Asterisk, the strange part? We weren't even part of her HOA. Our property lies outside the official boundary lines. But that didn't stop Carol from acting like she had jurisdiction over every tree, dog, and blade of grass in the valley. She hated Cooper, claimed he was intimidating and threatening. Truth is, Cooper wouldn't hurt a fly unless that fly was threatening Lily. Asterisk, the first signs of trouble came in the form of handwritten notes, nasty little letters shoved in our mailbox without postage. Keep your mutt on a leash. This neighborhood isn't a dog park. I'll handle it if you won't. I brushed them off at first, figuring she was just blowing hot air. But Tasha had a bad feeling about her. Asterisk, on the morning everything went wrong. I was inside finishing breakfast while Lily and Cooper were outside near the edge of our property. We'd recently installed a custom wheelchair trail for her to ride along with Cooper trotting beside her. It gave her independence. It gave her joy. But that day, joy turned into horror. Asterisk, I heard the gunshot before I saw anything. I rushed outside, in a panic, heart pounding, to see Lily slumped in her chair, Cooper barking furiously, and Carol Simmons standing across the road on her porch with a smoking pistol in her hand. Asterisk, what did you do? Screamed as I ran to Lily. She wasn't moving. There was blood on her side. I froze, then snapped back to reality, yelling for Tasha to call 911. Cooper was howling and pacing circles around Lily, as if trying to shield her. Asterisk, Carol yelled something like that. Mutt came at me. But I couldn't focus on her nonsense. I scooped Lily up in my arms, blood soaking into my shirt, and carried her to our truck. I didn't wait for the ambulance. Every second counted. Asterisk, at the hospital, they stabilized her. The bullet had struck her lower rib and lodged dangerously. Close to her spine, by some miracle, she survived surgery. But the doctors warned us there could be complications, including further nerve damage. Lily was already disabled. This could make things worse. Asterisk, while my daughter was fighting for her life, Carol was fighting for her freedom. According to the sheriff, she claimed self-defense. She said Cooper had crossed onto her land and acted aggressively. She claimed she only meant to scare the dog. But there were no bite marks, no scratches, no signs of aggression. Just a leashless dog near the boundary of our property and a woman with a known history of threats. Asterisk, the sheriff confiscated her weapon and launched an investigation. Several neighbors came forward with their own stories about Carol's temper, including one man who said she once threatened his kid for skateboarding too loudly. She was well known for policing others, but now she was facing a real consequence. Asterisk, the media caught wind of the story a few days later. Headlines read, HOA enforcer shoots at dog, hits child. The town was outraged. Social media exploded. Most people didn't even realize Carol's HOA had no authority over our home. Asterisk, still, legal action wasn't immediate. We had to push for charges. We hired a lawyer and worked with the DA to press for reckless endangerment and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Carol's defense team tried to paint her as a concerned senior citizen and Cooper as a dangerous animal. But none of it held up, especially not when the footage from our new trail side security camera was entered into evidence. Asterisk, the camera, positioned near the outer fence, showed everything. Cooper standing by Lily, wagging his tail. Then the gunshot. Then Lily collapsing. Asterisk, public opinion turned sharply against Carol, even her own. HOA members began petitioning to remove her from their board. Her reputation, built on intimidation and self-importance, was falling apart. Lily's recovery was slow and painful. She had to undergo months of therapy, both physical and emotional. She cried at night, afraid to go outside. For a child who had already overcome so much, it was heartbreaking to watch her retreat into fear. We installed additional fencing, hired private security for a time, and ultimately won a restraining order that barred Carol from coming within 500 feet of our property. But the trauma lingered. In court, Carol showed no remorse, no apology. Her defense crumbled under the weight of video evidence and witness testimony. The jury took just 3 hours to find her guilty. She was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 5 years probation, plus a permanent revocation of her gun rights. Some might say that's justice, but no amount of time behind bars can undo what she did. My daughter's life will never be the same, but Lily, being the warrior she is, refused to let darkness take her. Just weeks after the verdict, she asked if she could go back on the trail. "I want to go," she said softly, "with Cooper." And so we went. I walked beside her, hand on the back of her chair, Cooper on her right. For the first time in months, she smiled. We learned something powerful through this nightmare. Peace must sometimes be fought for, even in the quietest of places. And heroes don't always wear capes sometimes. They wear fur and walk beside our children. And HOA Karens. They do well to remember that their power stops where the law begins. Because when you fire at innocence and try to hide behind rules, justice has a way of finding you loud, clear, and inescapable.